and welcome to episode 7 of Pattern Review's podcast. I am Deepika, founder of Pattern Review, and I'm actually wondering if I can call it a podcast anymore. As you know, I have not filmed an episode in over actually exactly 2 months. I looked it up. Um, the last episode was an interview with the lovely Carolyn Denham of Merchant and Mills. So if you have not seen that, I will link it down below in the description box so you can watch it. I do want to address why I was not able to make a video. A couple of factors actually. I took in February, I took a long awaited trip to India to see my family after 3.5 actually long years, and I decided to completely disconnect from my world and just soak in all of the time I had with my family, my two little nieces and nephews. And I do want to talk a little bit about, of course, fabrics and other things. But yeah, so that was one of the reasons. And right when I came back, the world around us changed, and what's happening in Ukraine completely devastating, and it was just difficult for me to kind of just keep on going. Nothing made sense, and I know we all process things differently in our own way. And um, I thought about it, whether or not it even makes sense to film a video when there's so much other stuff going on in the world. And I came to the conclusion that this is my work. This is my role to play in the environment I am in. So here I am with another episode, hoping that this inspires at least one of you. This helps one of you. Maybe it feels like you're chatting with someone who is as crazy about sewing as you are. So um, if you're watching, thank you so much for coming back. And while I can't promise that I will start making weekly podcast episodes, you have my promise that I will give it my best shot. And as long as you keep asking questions, I will keep making these episodes because it is a lot of fun for me as well. I want to get into some questions. So today's episode, I have a lot to share, a lot of fun, exciting things. I have few different show and tell, some completed projects, some fabric stuff, some announcements for pattern review. So if you have time to watch all of it, I'm here. So let's get started. I am going to actually first dive into some questions which you guys sent me. And if you're new to this podcast, welcome. Thank you so much for watching. You can ask me any questions, whether pattern review related, sewing related, or anything you would like to ask a friend. The link is patternreview.com/AMA Deepika, and I will link it in the description box also. So let's get started. If I'm looking there, it's because I'm looking at my computer for the questions. The first question, is there a PR weekend planned for this year? I went one year and it was a blast. I would love to go again now that we are moving past COVID-19. This is the second question I got on Pattern Review Weekend. If you're not familiar with PR Weekend, it is our annual in-person meetup, which we do in a different city, East and West Coast in the United States, alternating, and we get together. It's about two and a half or so days, a weekend and a half. And we have a day of learning where we have speakers and some what do we do? It's been a while. Yes, we do a project together. We have social time so we can hang out with each other, some show and tell, and then one day we sit in a school bus and head on for fabric shopping. It is the highlight of my year, and because of COVID, We have not been able to do it since, I think, 2019. Um, Portland, Oregon was our last PR weekend. To answer your question, um, no. So this year, and this was not an easy decision, believe me, because I have been, last year we completed a milestone. We Pattern Review turned 20, and I wanted to host a Pattern Review weekend here in Massachusetts to celebrate our 20th year. But of course, as you know, COVID hit, and 2021 was what it was. So we're all in this pandemic um, at our own comfort level, and I want to wait it out a little bit more. So this year I'm allowing myself the grace and the time to focus on the website instead, and our contests, and kind of bringing people together there. And I'm hoping, fingers crossed, we will truly be moving past and be able to gather in person safely. And so I'm fingers crossed for 2023. So if all goes well, I think we will plan to do something in the earlier part of 2023, so we can get together a little bit sooner than just 2 years from now. So fingers crossed, and I thank you so much for being so patient. And now we are all waiting so patiently, and looking forward to seeing each other. So we'll do that next year. A sewing question. I love sewing questions. Do I size down if I substitute a 3% stretch cotton sateen for the recommended woven for a sheath pattern? I would very much appreciate your expertise in this query, please. So I would not size down for a cotton sateen. So you're talking about a stretch woven. 3% is not that much of a stretch, in my opinion, for you to go down a size. I think if that, it will probably add a little more like comfort, just a teeny tiny bit of stretch on the seams as you wear your sheath dress. Sheath dress is a fitted dress by nature, so even if, so I myself have made garments which were intended for woven fabrics in actually Ponte, and Ponte does have a 25 to 50% stretch sometimes, although mine probably had 25%. What do you call it? Horizontal stretch, not the vertical stretch, although it does, some Pontes do. But depending on which way your fabric stretches, I would not go down a size. And I'm guessing that this is a pattern you've made before, so you know that it already fits you. And I would just make it as is. And don't forget to write a review when you made it. We'd love to see it. Next question. Hi Deepika, I love your new YouTube video series. Thank you. And I'm sorry to disappoint you that I have not filmed in 2 months, but I promise to be better now. Your show and tell is fun. I have a lot more coming today. And the dress you made is adorable, and the shrug you knitted is just beautiful. Thank you so much. I was wondering if you might share your sewing goals for 2022, or what I see from other sewists, your Make 9 for this year. She's also asking, do you have plans for a PR weekend, which I already addressed that. So I'm sorry that we're not meeting in person for PR weekend, but next year, hopefully in the first quarter, we'll be able to plan something, or not in the first quarter. It'll be still very, you know what? We could plan for that if we do it in the West Coast, because it'll be warm there. Okay, so let me talk about my sewing goals for 2022. That's so fun. And Make 9, as you know, is something started on Instagram for that grid. It neatly fits in. So people come up with the 9 things they plan to make for the year. I am not a very planned person when it comes to sewing. So I have tried really hard, but I've come to the conclusion that a sure shot way for me to not make anything is when I work with a plan. So I've done this. It's been over 20 years since I first started sewing, and I've just realized that is not something which makes me happy to make a plan. And that is not to say that I don't think about goals and what is it that I want to sew, what is it that I need to fill in my wardrobe. So I think about all of those things. But I don't have a traditional make 9 grid for you. However, this year, what I am planning for myself is at least one frosting type project, cake versus frosting. I tend to do more cake than frosting in my baking life also. So I tend to make a lot of everyday clothes, but I don't have any fancy outfits and so this year I'm challenging myself to make at least two slightly more formal wear. And so that's the biggest thing. I am also challenging myself to cut into some of my really nice Indian fabric, especially my Kantha fabric, which I have been hoarding for the last 4 years now, and I'm afraid to cut into it. So I'm challenging myself to do that. What else do I want to do this year? No, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, I like to take baby steps. So last year was not any sewing whatsoever for me. And this year I'm absolutely charged and completely immersed in my creative thought. And I've already made some really nice pieces, which I'm going to show in a little bit today in our episode. So I hope you'll stay with me for that. But yeah, some formal wear, cutting into some precious fabrics. And I'm actually focusing a lot more on techniques, which I have learned, and incorporating them in a more weird and kind of undone before kind of a way. And you'll see in a minute when I talk about my latest project, which I just finished. So yeah, I don't have any other plans. I noticed that I wear very few. I don't enjoy wearing pants, but because I live in the Northeast, I have to wear pants in the winter. So I've just bought myself some pants which fit me. Oh, and I do have one other. I'm sorry if I'm rambling today, but I'm just excited that I'm finally filming this video. I do want to sew a couple activewear pieces. I enjoy going to my gym, and I do need some pieces for there. So I have a Clara pants, a Jolie Clara pants cut out, and I have a Jolie Nikita, which is in my works in progress bin. So I plan to finish some of those. Earlier this year, I challenged myself to finish some previously started projects, and I'm making really good progress on that. So yeah, so far so good. It's been well, first quarter is over, April's here, and yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for what else to I learned this year. And yeah, as always, I'm very inspired by everything people make on pattern reviews. So you never know when my plans change, because I'll see some review and I'll be like, okay, I've got to make that. So yeah, so sewing for me is pretty much like what makes me happy today, and that's where I go. But really cool question. Next question. I love your knitted scarf with your dress review. Thank you. Can you share or direct me to the pattern? Also like the pick stitching you did on the neck facing. And where will I find your response? Because this was a while ago, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually email all of you guys whose questions I'm answering, just to let you know that I didn't forget about you. yeah, so your answer will be right here in this video. And let's talk about my knitted scarf. The scarf I think you talked about was a cowl, and that is a pattern called Shift by Andrea Maury of Drea Renee Knits, and you can find the pattern on Ravelry or on her website. I will also link it in the description box below. Pick stitching. So what this person is asking is the neck finish I did in my Lodo dress, which I showed in two episodes ago. So I actually brought it to show you. So these are my two Lodo dresses. As you know, it's one of my favorite patterns to sew. And what I love about this pattern is that it acts as a blank canvas for my scarves or jackets or jewelry or anything. And it's just so comfortable to wear in all 4 seasons. So I'll show you 2 different versions of how I finished the neck. It's actually, I like the clean finish of the neck, so I don't like to do top stitching. Instead, I do pick stitching, which you can see is almost invisible. And I like these little, you can, if you wanted to be extra fancy, you could put beads here, but I just like these tiny little pick stitches. So I'll show you 2 different versions, and then you can gauge for yourself what is the difference and which finish you like. So this is option number 1. And then this is option number 2. So as you can see that the picks in this version are a little more subtle than the first one. And I'll show you the inside in just a minute, but the only difference is that in the first dress, I used 2 strands of thread, and in the second one, I used only 1, so depending on what you like, right? Let's see. And this is really just a slip stitch. Yeah, so it's just 1 thread, so you can't even see it that clearly. Okay, and the first one is my Liberty scrap. And yeah, you can see this a little more clearly because I use 2 strands of thread, and I do this hand finishing of the neckline, and the sleeves is pretty much the same. Yeah, so I really like a little bit of hand sewing, which if you asked me even 10 years ago, I absolutely avoided hand sewing of every kind, and now I just I love it. I love the slowness of it. I love the intentional little stitches which take a long time, and it just looks very different. And I think you do have for necklines, even when I'm doing a bias bound neckline, I like that with my hand stitching I have a lot more control over that rather than if I finish on my sewing machine. How many times has it happened that you finish the whole neckline and you realize that you forgot to catch some bits and pieces from the inside? That drives me completely nuts. So I decided that I'm just going to finish it by hand, and it actually does not even take that long, these like small areas. But yeah, so yeah, I hope that helps a little bit, and like I said, I'll include all of the links for the patterns and everything I talk about in the description box below, so it's easy for you to find. All right, let me talk a little bit about my India trip. So for the most part, I just stayed home with my parents and my brothers, my little niece and nephew. I played a lot with him and her, and spent time with my grandmother, and yeah, I just kind of stoked in family time. And then a couple days I did go out because I did need some clothes, some Indian clothes. So I decided to go shopping one day. I picked up some ready to wear outfits, a couple of them, not too many. And then when I did not like the things which I was finding, one day I decided to just go fabric shopping, which was very close to you know, where my folks live. So we just, I went with my sister-in-law and I bought, you know, some traditional Indian fabrics, which you can see this one. This is ikat, and I just love, love, love the vibrant colors. And this is cotton and silk blend. And so I bought these textiles. I wanted to only buy traditional Indian textiles for some projects I had in mind. And then, you know, we have a family tailor. He came to the house, he took my measurements, and he was able to make this tunic top for me in 24 hours. How cool is that? Anyway, so yeah, I did pick up a few fabrics, and those got made into simple tops and things, which I think I don't know if you want to see this, but it's a kameez, and it's just a long, really, really long. It goes below my knee, way below my knee, and it's got a little slit on the side. It's like a simple design, but I like the fabric to shine, so I tend to pick simpler designs. Yeah, and so one of the days I went out for lunch with my husband and my daughter, and we ended up in this, you know, this restaurant was right outside of the Crafts Museum. So we had some time, and you know, after the lunch, and we just explored, and that was just so much fun. I ended up in the area which was just like textiles. It was all about textiles, and there were more than 200 types of textiles displayed there. It was just such an exhilarating experience for me, and I wish I could take pictures, take you with me. And anyways, but it was, I don't know if I'm able to express myself, my excitement, and just the thrill of simply being in a place which talked so much about all of these textiles from all around India. And like 200 is, that's just a small segment of what is available in India. And I had a whole new appreciation for the loom. It talked a lot about the process of weaving, and I learned that, you know, the different techniques of fabrics, pre-loom, on the loom, and post-loom. So this, for example, ikat is an on the loom design, which the different colored threads are woven in to create this fabric. So when this comes out, this comes from the loom. When it's finished fabric, it looks like this. There's no other additional treatment done to the fabric to make it look like this. This is actually just woven in threads. And then there are designs, which I'll show you here. So this is a hand block print cotton, which I got from India. And this is a tunic, which I got stitched for Dia, my daughter. And so like you can see that this block print, this is an example of a post loom textile, in which this is cotton, which is woven on the loom. And when the weaving is done, that's when this blocks are printed. So this is a surface design printed on the fabric as compared to being woven in. So this is an example of that. Another example, and a tunic I picked up, is this work called chicken curry. And this is very common in Lucknow. And these are all I don't know if you can see this, the color is such. So this is Georgette fabric, and all of this embroidery is done by hand with cotton thread. And you can see the back side. I have absolutely loved, and this is an example of shadow embroidery. I can't tell you how hard I have looked for a garment made out of chicken curry, which is front and back. And I'm so thrilled that I was able to find a piece which will get so much love in my closet, so in my wardrobe. not just in my closet. I've already worn it a couple times. But yeah, so this is also an example of post loom treatment. Did I buy any fabric for me to sew? Yes, I did. I could not resist this beautiful silk print. And another one of my challenges for this year is to branch out for my blues and greens, which I normally sew with. So hence the purple. And look at this fabric. Look at this. It's satin silk and this is digital print. This was an expensive piece, but I just fell in love with the design. So now I need your help in helping me pick out a pattern. What should I make with this? I'm thinking it should either be some sort of a duster or a dress. I don't know, something flowy. And maybe you can help me, and I'm hoping that this will be one of the, frosting type outfit for this year. So I'm hoping that this doesn't age in my stash like a lot of my other fabrics do, and it actually gets made. But yeah, so that's the only thing. That's the only fabric I picked up for myself, and yeah, it was amazing. It was fantastic. The weather was perfect, and I had a lot of good food, and yeah, just came back home very, very refreshed, recharged, motivated, and just very happy and grateful. All right, so I'm looking at my notes. There are some. I already mentioned earlier that PR weekend is the highlight of my day, of my year, and another thing which I look forward to all year long is our sewing bee contest, which today is Sunday, April 3rd, and I'm hoping to publish this video today right after I finish recording it. Sewing bee starting tomorrow. I posted on our blog on Friday, so I hope you will enter. If you're not familiar with Sewing Bee, this is the 8th year we are hosting this contest, and think of this as going back to the roots of the word quilting bee. It is what people used to do to be with each other. It stands for community. It stands for honing your craft, loving your craft, and being with each other and challenging yourself. And the sewing bee is exactly that. We will challenge you like you've never been challenged before. So there are 4 rounds of projects, and only the first round is open to all the members. Anybody can enter this contest. And we will, on Monday, tomorrow, we will post the challenge in the morning, what we want you to make. You will have up to a little bit under 7 days to sew, review, take pictures of your project, and post a review on the site. Alpine Queen, our favorite mentor, is mentoring this contest again, and I really, really urge you to enter this contest. It is absolutely so much fun. It is intense, but it's really, really, really fun. And it is not so much about winning or moving to the next round. It's more about thinking outside the box, challenging yourself to doing something, and sewing along with such wonderful people. There's such good energy on the forums when this contest starts. There's already like 6 pages of chatter on the forum, so I hope you will join in. And the contest committee and I are judges for the first round, and then after that there will be a guest judge for every subsequent round. And I don't know, depending on how many people enter this contest, we will move based on the scores. We will move some percentage of people to the second round, and third, and then the final round. There are lots of prizes to be had in this round, in this contest. So I know for a lot of you it is not about the prizes, but they are kind of fun, and our sponsors are invested in this contest, and thank you so much for sponsoring. And yeah, so I hope you will join in the contest, and it's starting tomorrow. Sewing Bee. I'll include all the links again in the description box if you aren't tired of me saying that constantly. But I do get some questions from people asking about links, so that I'll try to include as many links as I can in the box below so you can find them. Okay, now I want to show you my projects which I've been working on. So last month, I decided that I needed to make a princess, needed to muslin and fit a princess seam knit top pattern. So Itch to Stitch has this talon top in dress, which was perfect for me. This does come as with sleeves, but in my first round of fitting, I decided to make it sleeveless because sleeves are a whole different ball game, which I will get to later. But yeah, so I made 2 muslins of it from scrap knit fabric. I'm channeling all that I've learned from Sarah Veblen, and I fitted it to my body, and then I decided that I'm going to reverse applique it because that's what I like to do the most. And yeah, so this is Itch to Stitch Talon Top. I have written a full and detailed review of this pattern on Pattern Review, so I hope you check it out. And what I like about this princess seam pattern is not only does it fit me really, really well, but it gives me so many opportunities for color blocking. And you can see that the reverse applique is only in the front panel, and the back is just plain, and I just only, I actually didn't even top stitch this. But yeah, that's my Itch to Stitch Talon top, tank top. Okay, so my next project, which is what I'm super duper wired about, is an upcycle project. You know those team t-shirts or the logo t-shirts you get when you participate in any team sports or any group activity you do together, and I never like wearing those. You know why? Because A, the fabric is so itchy. B, the neck is too high and is always choking me. And 3, it never fits me right. It's either like too tight or too loose, and just like And 4th, it's like whatever, it's boring. So I have been a volunteer coach for, that's my daughter doing the spring cleaning. Yay! I've been a volunteer coach for this program called Girls on the Run in my town for, this is my 5th season actually. It's a youth empowerment program which is focused on fitness and running. But yeah, we teach all kinds of good life lessons to all of the team members. But yeah, I'm completely committed to this program. It's called Girls on the Run, and if you have this in your area, please, and if you have a child who is in 3rd to 5th grade, actually we're doing up to 6th grade, do sign her up if you love it. So yeah, this is my 5th season coaching it, and I decided that I am going to take those t-shirts and make it into one designer piece, my t-shirt, which I can wear to all the practices, which embodies the Girls on the Run spirit, and it shows my love of sewing and combines it with my love of this program and coaching. And yeah, so I have been thinking about this project for almost a year, and it's only, our season actually just started last week, and it's only because the season had started that I finally got the inspiration to actually finish this t-shirt. And the way I wanted to design this is it will have components from all of the 4 seasons I have coached, which means it'll have like bits and pieces of those t-shirts from previous seasons. The shirt should fit me, so which means I had to completely cut all the pieces and start from scratch using my master pattern, which my friend Tracy made for me. I have already written reviews of this t-shirt, which I've made before, so I knew it's going to fit me, and now I just needed to add the Girls on the Run components to it. So I just finished taking pictures. Today's finished yesterday, and I'm gonna write a review tomorrow. All right, meanwhile, I'm gonna show it to you. I know this episode is turning out to be super long, but I just had so much to say. Okay, so, ta-da! Okay, it's a lot going on. I know it's a lot. Okay, so let me walk you through it. So, the one thing I wanted is the neck to be rounded V, so I altered my pattern to convert it from just a V-neck to a rounded V, just a little bit higher. And I wanted I wanted to do something with this logo. The back only had the word coach written on it. So what I did was I created a freezer paper stencil of that pattern, of the front logo, and then I put it on the back. I sponge painted it, and then I backed the whole thing with yellow fabric from season 1, and I reverse appliqued it and cut out the pieces to reveal the bottom layer. So that was the back. I was happy with it. And then the front, I actually kind of just left it as is and just focused on the neckline, in which I've done this herringbone stitch. In this project, I used components I learned in all of my previous reverse applique projects, and also a Kawandi workshop I took last year, which is quilt making in the southeastern part of India. Yes. I cut up some pieces from, this is at the end of the season, we run a 5K together. All of these are from all 4 different seasons I've coached. And on this, I just honestly just kept adding components as I got inspired by one thing or the other. Some things made sense, some things didn't. But for the most part, what I love about this project is that it just, there's no right or wrong. You just kind of go with the flow. And then I just needed something else to be done on the front, and I thought that, hey, I can just superimpose this run. I wanted to, at first I thought I'd put run here, there. I'm like, wait a minute, I can just put it right on top of the other run. So yeah, the sleeves are a double 2 layers, and what's going to happen is when I throw it in the wash, these edges are all going to curl up. And for this, this was 2 layers, and I just chalk marked some lines from random lines. There's no rhyme or reason to it. They're all different lengths. I mean, they're the same length, but different distances between them. And I just stitched them and cut out the pieces, revealing the fabric underneath. All right, what else? Yeah, this patch is from my Kawandi quilt class, which I wanted to utilize some of the patches because I wanted to tie in the colors in the front as well. This is a logo from one of the sponsors. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I may have gone a little overboard, and then I wanted patch on the back also, because otherwise the back is plain. And then I needed to balance, this is on the right side, I needed to balance something on the left. So I did a random ruffle. This was actually harder than it looked. This was, it looks really, really fun. And what I like about adding this ruffle at the end is it adds some weight to the hem, so it just falls really nicely. But yeah, so this is my finished project, and I'm really happy with it. Cannot wait to wear it. Next practice is Tuesday, so the girls are gonna just love it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm actually thinking, if you guys would like, I might film an entire episode just on reverse applique, and see if you would like that, and what my process is, what things I use, and what tools I use, what stencils, paint, and maybe show you some stitches. I know that I've done at Portland. I did a little workshop on that. This technique was made popular by Alabama Channon, and I still go to the website and gather a lot of inspiration from there. But for the most part, once you get into this style of stitching, you can actually, it's very freeing, it's very liberating to be able to just kind of do what you want, and just make sure you start with a pattern which fits you right, and then you can just play with all these stitches. There's no right or wrong way of doing this, but I know for me, the decision making is the hardest part of this technique. What colors am I going to use? What stitches? What color of thread am I going to use? What stencil? What paint color? And this process of choosing never gets easier, actually. But I have to constantly tell myself that each piece will be unique, each project will be unique, and most importantly, I'm gonna have so much fun while making it. So and I did. So yeah, I hope this was fun for you. And yeah, I'm actually, the funny thing is, I took 5 t-shirts. I'm asking myself when this finished, so wait a minute, Deepika, you took like 4 t-shirts and you made them into one. How is that upcycling? Isn't it downcycling? But I have to show you. So this is another extra t-shirt I had. I mean, we went. Which t-shirt would you rather wear? This or this? Yeah. Which t-shirt would you rather wear? This one. Yeah. So what I'm also actually thinking is, all of the t-shirts which are left over, I still have a lot of fabric left over. So I'm going to try a new technique called string quilting. String quilting, yes, in which you take a foundation fabric and quilt different long strips of fabric to it. I'm not sure if I'm going to love it or hate it, but I'm going to give it a shot. So I'm going to make a tank top from the rest of the pieces for when it gets a little bit warmer out. But yeah, so that's the plan for now, and I'll keep you posted as always, and I cannot wait to see what you all create for the sewing bee, and I hope you will join. All right, until next time, bye.